in Arabic where the original form of the original letter stays intact. So you just add waw and noon at the end, or ya and noon at the end. So for example, in order to make the plural of Muslim, you just need to add waw and noon at the end, and you would say Muslimun. Muslim is mim, sin, lam, and mim, and you just add waw and noon, and it is Muslimun. That's plural. Or you add ya and noon at the end, and that is Muslimin. Similarly, with mu'min, a believer, you just add waw and noon, and the plural would be mu'minun or mu'minin. But there are also other forms of plurals where the singular noun or the singular form does not remain intact. It's broken. And in some cases, the plural would be totally different from the singular. The singular would have no similarity to the plural. And that is the case with imra'a and nisa. Imra'a is singular and nisa is plural. Imra'a means one woman and nisa means many women. So the reason why this surah is called Surah Nisaa is because a large part of this surah is dealing with the rules and with the laws pertaining to the issues of women. For example, the issue of inheritance of women, whether a woman would inherit from her father or from her husband or from her mother or from her children or not. Ironically, before the days of Islam, the woman was not considered worthy of inheriting. She would never be given any rights, anything from the wealth of her husband, of her father, of her mother, of her children, of her brothers, of any of her relatives. She was completely ignored and deprived of all the rights that she must have in the wealth, in the heritage of her parents or her children or her spouse. So Islam assigned the rights of women. Islam gave her right to inherit. So Islam did not only explain that she has the right to inherit and she has her own share, but Islam also specified all the different scenarios, all the different cases in which a woman would inherit, and what share, what percentage of wealth would become her share. So the mother is, as we will move on inshallah in this surah, only in the next section of this surah, the second section of this surah, we will be dealing with the detailed explanation of the shares of each and every single member. And the woman, whether she is a daughter or she is a mother or she is a wife, she will inherit, and her shares are explained in the next section of this surah. When will she get 1/3? When will she get half? When will she get 2/3? When will she get 1/8? All the possible shares, all the possible scenarios, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained in detail and in specifics. So this is what Islam gave to the woman. Now we come back to the first verse of this surah. This surah begins with the words, Ya ayyuhan nas ittaqu rabbakum. O mankind. These words have been used many times in Quran. When the word nas is used in Quran, it includes all the people. It is not an address that only calls on the believers and Muslims, but it is an address, it is a form of address that that invites all the people. If you are a human being, you are part of it. Ya ayyuhan nas. So the word nas is the plural, and it includes all the people who call themselves human beings. If you consider yourself non-human being, then you are not part of it. But if you consider yourself in any way that you are a human being, then you are being addressed in this verse. Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind. And there is a lesson in this verse and in this form of address, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us that regardless of our color, regardless of our race, regardless of our status, regardless of our ranks, we all are one. And what is coming after this part of the ayah is even more distinct in explaining this purpose, this goal, that all of us are one. Whether we are black or white, whether we are brown or red, whether we are rich or poor, whether we are men or women, we are all one. And that's why we are being called mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not address all men or all women or all believers or all Muslims or all believing men or all believing women or all Jews or all Christians or all pagans. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed all the mankind by saying, Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, because we are all one. Why? Because Allah reminds us in the next part of this ayah, Ya ayyuhan nas, ittaqu rabbakum. O mankind, fear your Lord. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used, in order to attract all people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used one of His attributes that is true in all human beings. And that is the attribute of Rabb. Rabb means someone who raises you, someone who provides for you, someone who gives you life, someone who gives you everything, someone who gives you sustenance, your provision. That is Rabb. And without any doubt, it is Allah who is providing for everyone. Allah is providing for the believers and for the non-believers. We do not believe that the non-believers get their sustenance from someone other than Allah. Because Allah is Rabb. And Allah is Rabb. Allah is Lord and Master and Provider and Sustainer of all, regardless of their belief, regardless of their faith. Allah does not take away the provisions of those who refuse to believe in Him, who deny Him, who reject His prophets, who reject His book, who reject His words. Allah does not take away their provisions and their sustenance, because He is still their Rabb. They do not recognize it. But Allah is mentioning that He is still their Rabb. This is why they are still getting their provision. If their Rabb, if their Master was someone like us, we would take away the provision and all the privileges that we had given to the person right away. Imagine, you have a servant, you have an employee, and you ask your employee to do this and this and this and that, and the employee says in your face, I don't like to do anything, and I will never do anything for you. What would you do? You'll say, oh, forget it. He will do it next day, or he will do it next week, or he will do it next month. You'll say, you're fired. I don't want you anymore. I don't need you anymore. So this is the distinction, that we are not Rabb. We are not the providers. We may be the employers. We may be writing the checks for those people who work for us, but we are not their Rabb. We are not their providers. It is Allah who's providing for them. And it is Allah who's providing for those who believe in Him, and who's providing also for those who do not believe in Him. And this is what makes Allah superior. This is what makes Allah above all. This is what proves that Allah is the true Rabb. And there is no one who can ever be recognized as the Rabb, as the true Master, as the true Lord in this entire universe. Because everyone else has his own interest at heart. If their interest is being fulfilled, they will be loyal and they will be willing to give what they can. But if their interest is being crushed, if their interests are not being fulfilled, then they will abandon you right away without ever giving a second thought. Even if you are their close relative,